Absa Corporate and Investment Banking says the impact of COVID-19 on the economy will be devastating. It says the decision to shut down the country for 21 days will hurt productivity in key sectors such as mining and manufacturing. Economist Mike Schuessler says while government measures announced on Monday are plentiful, but they are not enough.
Businesses are not going to be able to get enough because the government doesn't have enough funds. Already there are many limits in place as to the size of the business, that it shouldn't have been in trouble beforehand. All these sort of things are there, and it's very difficult to see how informal business is going to be able to survive in these times. It will be really a matter for most businesses, I think, of just keeping their heads down, doing what they need to do, and trying to survive. I think
announced amount to nearly 14 billion rands. This is over and above other measures applied. Countries such as the United States, the United Kingdom and New Zealand have put in place stimulus packages.
The use of the UIF, it was something that was negotiated before this decision around the lockdown. It was a labour initiative. It was not a government initiative. So quite frankly, government has not really come with anything of substance to the table except 100 million rands from National Treasury. And I think that's such a tragedy.
But Treasury says there is enough money to provide the government fiscal room to respond to critical interventions related to the shutdown. This, it says, will be done by reprioritising government budget.
The money is there, the money is in the budget, the money is in the system. It's through reprioritization. You heard the Minister of Tourism saying that they'll make 200 million available. This is from existing monies and resources where we are approving environments from other programs to specific COVID-19 related programs. And that's working. Same with the 150 million rand that Minister Patel was talking about of seed funding for the Solidarity Fund. He did indicate that we'll be putting 100 million from Treasury. Effectively, it's again looking at budgets, slicing off some budgets that are clearly not going to be spent. I can tell you now as an example, if you look at what's going to happen on the travel budgets across the departments, in national departments we have about, on average, on a monthly basis, spend about 280 million. That 280 million won't be spent for domestic and international travel. So effectively, that means that money will have to be reprioritized. So that 100 million, for instance, is coming from such programs. And as he said, the 50 million is coming from the lottery. So there is money in the system currently that's not going to be, and we are reprioritizing to specific COVID-19 programs.
Against a possible credit downgrade by Moody's, analysts say government's options could be limited unless additional stimulus measures are introduced. They are predicting that the central bank may have to further cut interest rates, with some saying by as much as 50 basis points. This is in addition to the 100 basis points announced last week.
The problem for South Africa at the moment is we hope it's only 21 days lockdown. But if it's more than 21 days of a lockdown, it's really going to make the situation even more severe. It's going to be further loss of GDP, further loss of jobs and everything, and we know that there is a lot of help coming, but it really cannot be enough.
We're talking about shutting down 2/3 of the economy, a GDP of 5.2 trillion, over one quarter, maybe 2 quarters, and the government in return gives us a 2 billion rand kitty, a charity fund, to counter the impact of that. I think it's astounding, and we should be actually having a much larger monetary and fiscal stimulus.
Meanwhile, the United States Senate is expected to continue with negotiations on a ballooning economic stimulus package. This is after hitting a roadblock on Sunday when Democrats blocked the procedural vote to advance the legislation. The package could be as large as $2 trillion. It is expected to provide some buffering to industries and sectors hardest hit by the outbreak, particularly airlines, hotels and small businesses in general. Diabosito, SABC News, Johannesburg.